Jean-Francois, first of all, happy April Fools.
Well, same to you. I didn't know we said that. Happy April Fools. What does that entail exactly?
Basically nothing other than if you can play a gag on somebody today, this is the day to do it. So, for example,
Right.
I gave the example, my wife this morning pretended she fell and hurt herself, which is an odd thing to do, just so I would come down. And when I said, "Are you okay?" she said, "April Fools." So that's what we do.
That's a great relationship you have. I envy that.
That was her idea. I bought in for about 15 or 20 seconds. Then I realized she was playing.
You saw what our leaders did today. François Legault announced that he would tour Quebec on a singing duet with
Bernard Dréville.
Yeah. And Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon announced that given the shortage of the lunettes,
glasses
for
the eclipse.
The eclipse. He's asking the government to postpone the eclipse for a week or two.
What is the French word for eclipse?
Eclipse.
La même chose.
La même chose.
Oh, I had no idea. Oh, there you go. Okay, so there's a couple of things that are going on. I thought the Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon was going to be a joke where he would be now going into the hoodie business, embroidering hoodies in Quebec, but apparently not. Okay. Let me start with this story on Bruno Pelletier. A lot of people very taken by this news today. Very young man, only in his 60s. I know Jean Charest spoke out about him. What can you tell us about him?
Well, Bruno Pelletier was the conscience of the Liberal Party of Quebec in terms of autonomy. He was on the autonomous side of the party. He was one of those who actually tried to have a reform of the electoral system to bring more proportionality, but it was refused by the caucus. He fought for interculturalism instead of multiculturalism. And since he left office, he was some guy that we all thought would come back to politics at one point, maybe in a leadership role. He had been contacted by the Harper government to run as a conservative, which he declined, but that showed that he had some respect at the federal level of the Conservatives. More recently, he was defending the use of the notwithstanding clause by the Legault government, both for the secularism bill and for the language bill. So he was pretty much on this autonomous wing of the Quebec Liberal Party, and he was very a gentleman in every way. There was not a partisan bone in his body. He could talk to everyone, always willing to comment or give advice. He's going to be sorely missed.
I would ask you, just for listeners who are hearing this, and we've heard the term before, you just said he was more about interculturalism than multiculturalism. What's the difference?
Well, the difference is multiculturalism is saying that the nation is made up of every cultural community, and they're all equal to each other. And then the end logic is when Mr. Trudeau says we're in a post-national society. That means that there isn't a core history and a core values that stems from a historic majority. It's just like this blank page on which everyone brings its own thing. Interculturalism is that there is a historic majority to which that dialogues with minorities, but there is a major anchor in the center that is the historic majority.
Okay, appreciate the explanation there. Good. And then I want to ask you as well. We heard earlier from Anne-France Goldwater, who is a family law attorney, about this motion introduced, a bill that's going to be introduced by the CAQ, Simon Jolin Barrette, taking great joy in this last week, what they call parental union status. In other words, if you're living in a relationship, Quebec, man, woman, not married, or man, woman, whatever, and children are introduced, suddenly there are going to be some rights. Now, when I first heard this, I thought, well, this is a good idea. And then after I heard the lawyer talking about this, she's not a big fan of this. I'm just curious, from what you know, what do you think?
Well, I'm like you. I think it's a good idea. It's a default position, okay? Because in Quebec, the majority of people are in a union couple, are in how do you say the conjoint fait?
Like in a civil union or living common law?
There's no legal status.
Right, exactly. They're just living together.
Living together, yeah. And now they have kids. Most kids stem from these couples. So there's already some rights there, but they're far removed from the rights that couples have with kids when they are married. Mm-hmm. And so this lifts the social safety net in a number of areas, but you can still opt out, because the idea, this has been discussed for many years, and the idea is, well, we make the choice not to get married, so don't force us into a position. And what the bill does, and there's going to be a big debate about it, and I'm sure Ms. Goldwater can come to the National
she'll be
Assembly.
There,
yeah. And it's going to be interesting to see if there are tweaks to it. But basically, you say, listen, new couples that have children will by default have these rights, but they can opt out, and those who are already a couple with children have to opt in. That's my understanding. Mm-hmm. I think that's fine.
I'm going to suggest that when you have time, you go to our website at cjd800.com and take a listen to Anne-France Goldwater's interview, which she did with David Hertel earlier this morning, and listen to the litany of issues that she brings up that not only she's not impressed with in this bill, but she actually thinks turn things backwards to some degree.
I will.
It's quite eye-opening. So it'd be very interesting once, as you're right, once the hearings get underway, because it's not law yet. There'll be a variety of people, a variety of groups coming forward. I don't think this is going to be a slam dunk necessarily for the government, but we'll have to wait and see. Last thing, announcement today, the Liberals federally committing $1 billion to a new national school food program, something they actually promised, Jean-Francois, back in 2021. Now apparently it's going to be included in the budget coming out next month.
I'm so glad that we have all this money. I mean, it's never ending. It's like there's nothing we can't afford. On the measure itself, not only am I for it, but it was part of my program when I was leader of the PQ in 2018. But we had financed within a balanced budget. Okay, so it's fine when you have the money to do it. But now it seems that I thought the federal government would try to come back to a path toward a balanced budget, but certainly with everything they're announcing, and everything is fine. We'd like to have tomorrow maybe free public transit. That would be good. Can we afford it? Of course, the question today is, well, this is clearly a provincial matter. Will Quebec be able to opt out with the money? The answer is maybe. Maybe that was the answer today. But my only point is that, if you tell me that you're going to overtax the oil companies who are making a lot of money to pay for this, that's fine. But I'm a little concerned that there doesn't seem to be any guardrails to the number of billions we can spend.
I will point out, we talked to a CTV reporter earlier on about this as well. So there are other provinces that have school food programs in place. And the sense I got was the federal government obviously is aware of this, and in terms of Quebec will be able to spend the money, it looks like other provinces will be able to spend it in ways they think it should be spent. I'm not sure how much federal involvement there's going to be in this, so maybe, we'll have to wait and see, but I don't think that's going to be a huge hurdle in Quebec.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah.
But it took a while to negotiate the transfer of health money. They are not done negotiating the dentistry model, mm-hmm. and they're not done negotiating the medical insurance. So it's always more complicated than it should be.
I asked as well with respect to this. It seems now, between now and April 16th, which is when the federal budget is going to be released, we're starting to see a flurry of announcements from the federal government, money here, money there, and that's something typically you don't see in a budget, right? Everyone's pretty tight-lipped before the actual budget day, but not this time around.
Well, the communicators have had the upper hand, because this is, if you think that you will make points with every one of these announcements, it's much better to make them to spread them out than to have them all. The other idea is to put in the budget money for a general topic and then make the announcements specifically on how you spend this money.
We shall see. Not that far away, only a couple of weeks away from that. All right, Jean-Francois, thank you. Appreciate it. Merci.